Hey, what's up, everybody? For your fix of fitness, health, life, and laughs, you know where it's at. That's right, it's at the Poecast with your host, yours truly, Adam Pullman. What up? Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Poecast. This is the show where all of your health, fitness, and nutrition questions are answered by me, your host and coach, Adam Pullman. In today's episode, we're talking about carb cycling. What is it? And is there any benefit for the average person? So we're going to be diving deep into that today. Make sure you tune into this episode for more on carb cycling. Now, if you are new to the show, here's how it works. So I answer questions sent in by listeners just like you. The reason that I do this podcast is so that you can have answers to your questions. That is literally it. Okay. So the more questions that are sent in, the more things that I have to answer for you guys, the more podcast episodes that you have to listen to, and the more that you can learn about ways to improve your overall health, fitness, and nutrition. All right. So if you have a question or several questions that you would like to have answered here on the show, you can send those in on Instagram. My handle is Adam_PullmanFit. Every single Saturday on my story, you'll see a little question box on there that says, ask me a question. That is your green light to submit as many health, fitness, and nutrition questions as you would like. And I will answer them briefly there in the story and then here in long form in detail here on the show. That way you can get some in-depth answers to your questions. So make sure you go ahead and do that on Instagram if you have some questions that you would like to have an answer to. Now, if you are also new and you're not sure about the affiliates that we work with, and you're like, what's the deal here? Here's the thing. Two different affiliates. The first one is Mir. They make great products that keep your drinks cold or hot for very long periods of time. We just did a giveaway this last month for 3 of those products. However, if you missed the giveaway and you still want a discount, go to mir.com, MIIR.com, and use the code Pullman. Nope, wrong one. Use the code AdamPullman20 at checkout. The other code is for Magic Spoon cereal. Delicious, high protein, amazing cereal that is great for getting some protein in, hitting your sweet tooth craving, satisfying that, without going crazy, on the calories, on the sugar, on the carbs, all of that stuff. It's cereal that will remind you of the cereal that you had as a kid growing up, minus all of the junk. So if you want some delicious high protein cereal, and here's the thing too, I don't know if you've tried high protein cereals. They suck. They're disgusting. They're awful. Magic Spoon has zero competition. I'm sure they are killing it in the marketplace right now because I haven't had anything like it. I've tried stuff at Whole Foods, Sprouts, stuff like that, and it's just, it's so disgusting. It's so gross. But Magic Spoon is amazing. So if you want to try some out for yourself, maybe get some for your kids, whatever, go ahead and go to magicspoon.com and use the code PullmanFit at checkout for $5 off of your order. Personally, I think the blueberry and the fruity is well worth it. Definitely the best ones in my opinion. The frosted, not so great. I'll be 100% honest with you on that one. All right, so go ahead and go to magicspoon.com and get that discount there. Now, if you have not been connected with our free resources here at Pullman Fitness, I have written several guides to help you along your health and fitness journey, to help give you some insight on things that you can do to improve from many different topics, such as building better arms, building a better butt, what to do when your gym closes because of COVID. I think for people in Canada, they're still dealing with that. God bless your soul. What else is out there? We've got a guide on protein. We've got a guide on losing body fat, tons of different stuff out there. So if you want some of those guides absolutely free to help you along the way, go to pullmanfitness.com/free. That's POEHLMANN fitness.com/free. All right, today's question: what is carb cycling? Any benefits for the average person? Great question. So carb cycling seems to be making some sort of comeback. It's been around for a long, long time, as long as I can remember. And so what is it? So first we have to understand what we're talking about, what we're working with before we can discuss any potential benefits for the average person. So despite it seeming like some sort of fancy thing where you are doing crazy stuff with your carbohydrates, all you're doing is fluctuating your carbohydrate intake. So, and the thing is too, there's no one way to do it. So it might look like maybe 4 days out of the week, you eat a higher amount of carbohydrates. 3 days out of the week, you eat a lower amount of carbohydrates. Maybe Monday, Tuesday, you have a high amount. Maybe Wednesday, Thursday, you have a moderate amount. And then, what did I say? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, you have a low amount. And then you go back up next week on Sunday or whatever. There's no one way to go about it, but all it means is that you are fluctuating your carbohydrates. Now, if you're keeping your proteins and your fats the same, that is also going to mean that you are fluctuating your calories. And calorie cycling, or fluctuating your calories, has been shown to be much better for fat loss in the long run, doesn't lead to as many rebounds as just slashing a bunch of calories over time does. So carb cycling can definitely have a benefit, but it's not so much to do with the fact that you are eating more carbs one day, less carbs the next day, and has more to do with the calories that you are cycling over time. As that intake changes, you are less likely to see those adaptations happen. So let me give you a little bit of an example. So let's say we have, we'll just do like a client A and a client B situation. So client A and client B. You have client A, this individual, they both have the same goals. Okay. However, client A is going to be cycling their calories. So let's say over the average, over the week, their average caloric intake is 2,000 calories. Then maybe that means they have 1,200 one day, 2,500 another day, 1,800 another day. They're fluctuating. Okay, sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, sometimes it's moderate, whatever. But if you average it all out, it's still about 2,000 calories. Let's go to client B. Client B is just going to chronically eat 2,000 calories. Now, as they progressively decrease their calories, if their priority is to lose body fat and decreasing their calories is something that they feel that they need to do to make that happen, client A is going to continue to do so while cycling calories. So let's say they go down to 1,700 calories. Client A is still cycling. Some days are high, some days are low. Client B is just going to go straight to 1,700. And then they're going to go straight to 16 and then 15 and so on. Person A or client A is likely going to have one, better results potentially, and two is going to have a much smaller chance of a rebound, gaining all that weight back. And the reason being is because what has been shown in research is that you are potentially, it's not like proven fact, but you are potentially negating the effects of the adaptation that your body tends to have when you are reducing calories. So when you change calories, whether it's increase or decrease, your body has a little bit of a response to that. Now, what I mean by that is by increasing or decreasing metabolism. Now, as you progressively decrease, your body is going to progressively slow down its metabolism. It is something that your body is supposed to do. It's made to do. It's a good thing in certain contexts. However, in fat loss, it's a real bitch, and you don't really want to have that happen too much. However, usually it's inevitable. You just want to reduce it. You want to make it as minimal as possible. All right. So, where was I going with that? Oh, so that the metabolic adaptations happen there. So that client B that is just slashing will likely have a greater metabolic adaptation as far as metabolism slowing down than client A will, which means that over time, when client A starts to begin reintroducing calories, they will likely have a smaller chance of a potential weight gain rebound where they're putting all that weight back on, if not more. So client B would have to be a lot more careful and strategic about how they're going to reintroduce those calories without putting on excess body fat, and that would be a whole headache and a half. All right. So that's the benefit of calorie cycling, which can come from carb cycling. Again, carbohydrates contain calories, about 4 calories per gram in carbohydrates and protein, about 9 calories per gram in fats. So whether you are cycling your protein, your carbohydrates, or your fats, if the other two are staying the same, you are going to be cycling your calories. You're going to have some high one day, some low the other day, maybe moderate a day after that. And there definitely can be benefit to that, like I just talked about, especially if your goal is fat loss. Now, there are some other benefits as far as lifestyle goes that I think are great as well. For example, if calorie cycling is something that, or carb cycling is something that you want to try to pursue and implement in your life, it could be a great thing to do in order to create a little bit more flexibility in your life. Like, let's say, for example, that every Thursday you go get happy hour with your coworkers after work, for example. And you know that not only do you have a drink at happy hour, but you also have nachos or chips and salsa or chips and queso or whatever. You have stuff that tends to be more carbohydrate heavy, as it is when you go out to eat basically anywhere. You can have that higher carbohydrate day fall on Thursday so that you have a little bit more freedom with your food. You can enjoy the time with your friends a little bit more without feeling like the restrictive a-hole. And then on the days where you're at home and you can more easily make those adjustments for the lower carbohydrate intake, you can do that there. That is a great way to implement that in your life to where you can still progressively reduce calories, but not feel like you are restricting your social life, restricting your quality of life, all that stuff. You're still prioritizing your goals and you're prioritizing the environment and the fun and engagement that you're having with your friends and the food that brings all of you guys together. That is a great way to do that. Another way that I like to have my clients do this, if we do try to do something like this, is potentially days where they are traveling. Usually travel days tends to be a lower calorie day for people. And so if they are traveling, boom, let's make that day a lower calorie day. If they are going to the ballpark for a baseball game, higher calorie that day because they're likely to get all this other food that has that's a little bit more processed and lower nutrient density and higher calorie density. So you can kind of change it and adapt that to your life. So if we took client B, the person that was just slashing away calories, let's say they went down to 1,500 calories a day, for example. Keep in mind, this is just a random example for the sake of the conversation. They went down to 1,500 calories a day, for example. They're going to feel pretty restricted when they have that happy hour Thursday with their friends, or when they go out to dinner with their family, or when they go to the ballpark for a game and they want a hot dog. They're going to be feeling a little deprived. Okay, so they can compensate for that by making that maybe a 1,800 calorie day, so they can have that hot dog. And then adjusting the other days while they're at home so they don't feel like they need to eat as much. But yet over the course of the week, their average is still the amount that they need in order to prioritize their fat loss goals. So there definitely can be benefit, but you have to remember that when it comes to changing your nutrition to reach your goals, no matter how you do it, the most important thing is your consistency. So if you are still not consistent, or let's say you do your calorie cycling and you have days that are high and you go way the F overboard, or the days that are low, you still go overboard, and that makes your weekly average for your calorie amount high, it's not going to matter if you're fluctuating your calories. You're still going to gain excess body fat if you're eating more than you need to. So you have to keep that in mind. At the end of the day, it's not so much about what's right or wrong, black or white on paper. It's more so what's best for you in your life, the freedom that you want to have with food, your schedule, your lifestyle, your goals, your engagements, in relationships, all that stuff. What is most optimal for you and those circumstances? That's what you have to consider. So I hope this episode helped in terms of the carb cycling and calorie cycling thing. Thank you for being here. If you know someone that could benefit from listening to this episode, go ahead and spread the love, share it with them, and let them know that this show is where they can go to get all of their health, fitness, and nutrition questions answered. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it is over already. Hey, thank you guys so much for listening to the Poecast. Hey, listen in. If you have a health and fitness goal that you are trying to reach, I don't know what else to say other than to say it must be a match made in heaven. If you didn't know already, Pullman Fitness exists to transform the body, mind, and spirit through personal coaching and sustainable fitness plans for any stage of life. So, if you want to reach your goals, build sustainability, and enjoy life all at the same time, you guys got to check out Premier Coaching at Pullman Fitness. From custom-tailored programming to 24/7 access to your personal coach, you'll have everything that you need to succeed. You guys can find out a lot more about Premier Coaching as well as our membership program at pullmanfitness.com. Hey, if you enjoyed the show, share the love by leaving a 5-star review and introducing the Poecast to your friends and family. As always, thank you so much for listening, and until next time, this is the Poecast.